See you.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to Congressman Paul. That's what Brian just said. And that leads to my next guest, who has called for abolishing the Federal Reserve. He's been one of Ben Bernanke's biggest critics, and he is here to give us his reaction to Ben's big day ahead. Joining us on the phone is Ron Paul, Republican congressman from Texas. He's also author of the new book, Liberty Defined. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. But what if you have called for greater transparency from the Federal Reserve? Are you happy with what we're going to hear from Bernanke this afternoon?
No, I think just the fact that he's now in front of the public and might have to answer a couple tough questions, I think that is a significant victory. But I don't expect anybody's going to learn a whole lot today. I don't think there'll be a change in policy or an admission that the policies are failing and that we're in for a lot of inflation and a continued weak economy. We're not going to hear that. We're going to hear a lot of talk, as we hear always before the Financial Service Committee, just sort of cover over things and deny and don't answer questions directly. But I think it's still things are moving along. You know, we didn't get the full audit of the Federal Reserve last year, but we got partial audits, and the courts have helped us on this. So we are getting more information. We have more information about the Fed than ever before, and it could be argued that this is the first time in its whole history that's been on the defensive, and they've been getting away with a lot by saying they claim they give us good times and get us out of the bad times, but that's not the way the free market Austrian economists see it.
Well, in terms of oil and gasoline prices and food prices rising as well, how much of that inflation do you attribute directly to the Federal Reserve's policies?
I think most of it to the Fed. Let's take a look at the housing bubble. It was interest rates very, very low that encouraged the bubble. But it was also the programs that the Congress passed, you know, the CRA and the Community Reinvestment Act that tells the bankers they have to do these things. So that added fuel to it. And I think in energy, it's very similar. I think it's mostly the inflation, but then there's also the messed up markets that we have produced because we don't have free market in development of energy sources. You know, we inhibit nuclear power, we subsidize ethanol, and then we have all kinds of incentives to go overseas and fight wars to protect oil, and sometimes I think that backfires on us. So we don't have it. So I think that adds to it as well. But if we had a truly free market in a sound currency, oil, of course, would be the price it was in 1971, you know, less than $5 a barrel. It would have been stable, but that, of course, didn't happen.
Congressman, you have formed an exploratory committee looking at a potential presidential run for 2012. How will you make that decision? What do you want to hear from the American people in terms of supporting your unorthodox views on many subjects?
Which are becoming more orthodox every day. No, I want to see the numbers. I've been traveling. I've been to about 4 campuses, in the last few weeks. I'll be in Reno tomorrow, and so far the receptions have been good. If there's an indication that the money can be raised, and we have the supporters, and right now it looks very encouraging.
Do you feel like, though, that people treat you as if you were on the fringe in terms of your beliefs? And you also talk a lot about politicians being in denial about our financial situation, but part of that is also the American people.
Yeah, but I think they consider these views on the fringe a lot less so. And, you know, they try to say that people who believe in liberty and sound money and the gold standard, they're, radicals. But we see that printing money in zero interest rates is radical and strange and weird. I think when the history of our current economic system is written, people say, how in thunder did they ever believe that, you could allow the Fed in secret create $3 trillion and buy up bad assets, dump them on the American people, and bail out the people who ripped us off, and let the people go unemployed, lose their mortgages, and lose their houses, and call it sound economic planning with compassion. I mean, I think they will be totally bewildered, but they're waking up, and I think this whole thing about Bernanke today and looking at the Fed, I think it is great. I think they're looking in the right way. When they look at the energy prices, yes, they can yell and scream all they want about profits, but it won't have anything to do with the real problem, and that is the Fed and the interference of our government in the process of developing energy.
Congressman, thank you so much. It was great having you here today, even on the phone. Congressman Ron Paul, take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.